Since 1992, Genesis House has been helping real people heal from addiction on their private recovery campus in beautiful Palm Beach County, Florida. Their family-owned program is accredited by the Joint Commission and offers detox and dual diagnosis treatment in a comfortable and confidential setting. At Genesis House, they focus on treating the underlying causes of addiction. Their comprehensive approach includes psychiatric care, individual and small group therapy, trauma healing techniques, and holistic care including yoga, massage, and animal-assisted therapy. After treatment, their clients enjoy the lifelong support of a nationwide network of Genesis House alumni. Call Genesis House today at 1-800-737-0933 to speak with someone who understands. Visit them on the web at www.genesishouse.net. It's time to start your journey to a long and successful recovery.
Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is brought to you by the Friends in Recovery community, a thriving network of individuals who are fighting back against the stigma of addiction. Join our hosts as they speak up about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, here are your Friends in Recovery.
Welcome, everybody, to the Friends in Recovery Podcast. I'm your host, Jersey Ed, along with my two beautiful, lovely, long-haired co-hosts, Noontime with Sky and Carl. Really? Welcome, guys.
With my golden locks.
That's right. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Genesis House for their ongoing support with this podcast. Without them, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you, Genesis House. Tiffany had some family things to do. She just couldn't squeeze in the show this morning, and that's okay. You know, we all have to cover for each other, like we were talking a little bit earlier here on Facebook Live. And I'd like to welcome everybody on Facebook Live. Actually, Facebook Live is going very well. You know, we're just trying to figure out what day to do it on and what's the best day. And let us know. There's actually a survey on Facebook Live, our Facebook. Just take that survey and let us know if you like this Saturday morning or whatever. But today's topic is going to be Tradition 5. We labored very hard and intense over this tradition to get out a 30-second show for all you guys on this tradition that we know about. No, I'm just kidding. So stay tuned for amazing recovery. So I'm going to just go over some of the literature. I'm going to be using the 12 and 12. Skylar's going to be using the how and why. Carl is going to be using the 12 and 12. And we're going to talk about some sober shout outs. So while we're doing the sober shout outs, and if you want a sober shout out, email us at help@friendsandrecoverypodcast.com or comment below and we'll give you a sober shout out if it's your Carl's pointing downward. If it's your sober birthday, if you want to say hello to somebody, whatever it is, just get them out there and we'll kind of get going on all that for the sober shout outs. I have two sober shout outs. One, of course, Sober Pod. We love Sober Pod. And I have to give him a shout out. Carl, how's that Sober Pod show? Is that an okay show? What do you think of that fucking show over there?
Ooh, I don't know, man. You know, there's this chick on there. She's just really annoying. She's
exactly.
She's getting like her degree and stuff. She's becoming an RN. She's got all the successful stuff going on, and it really bugs the shit out of me because here I sit with no job, unemployed,
in your closet,
in a closet,
talking to nobody,
just begging people for work, and like nobody wants to talk to me. Every day my email box is just filled with rejection. It's just like, I love it. I just love it.
Well, we have Carl on from Sober Pod today. He is filling in for the lovely Tiff. Their hair is almost matching, but Carl's, I think, is a little. Yeah,
where is Tiff? What's going on with where is Tiff? Because
I stuff. Birthday.
I got a beef. I got a beef with Tiff. Like I think we're gonna go head to head at some point, man. We're just. Oh.
God, and and also Dayton Strong Recovery 101. Of course, we love Joe over there. Some competition you got there, Sober Pod, Carl.
Yeah, he's doing these every daily things, which I think is cool. So
I do too. The reflections and stuff he does.
Yeah.
And quick little blurbs too. So like if you just need a quick shot of recovery,
Yeah.
you can listen on real quick and then, get a message.
Yeah, you need a quick hit. You go.
Quick fix. You should show up.
Strong recovery.
You're in the closet listening to it. What are you doing here? Nothing. I swear.
Nothing, honey. Nothing.
I'm only looking at porn.
What's all that clicking going on?
Oh God, Sky, do you have any sober shout outs? I know you do. You're the
I do.
I know.
All right. So there's been a lot of anniversaries this month. Danielle P. These are all alumni. I'm going to read the alumni first. Danielle P. had 2 years. Aaron C. had 1 year.
Aaron C.
Nick S. had 9 months.
Nick.
Ernest D. had 60 days. So did Stacy B.
Stacy B. All right.
Yeah, 60 days. B. We had Deb M., which you also know from Mass, 1 year.
Yes.
And Beth R., 18 fucking years.
18 years, Beth,
That's our nurse, yeah.
Beth, I know. Beth
and Cecilia P. Had 9 months. So there's a lot of anniversaries this month. That's awesome. It's a lot of
That is a lot, guys. That is a lot.
Yeah.
Congratulations, everybody. Carl, do you have a sober shout out?
I don't have any like real sober shout outs, but what I do, I do kind of have like my ring of people that I rely on, right? Like you guys, the ones that you call
front row.
Yeah, the very front row. So I got John, Brad, Jeff, Cody. Let's see who else I got. Oh, every once in a while, this dude Chris, right? But Chris, we're trying to put in the front row. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so I got a handful of people that I rely on a daily basis to kind of get me through this shit. Oh yeah, and not recovery related. A woman from my previous job, Diane. She has been just the best. Nice. A non-program, non-recovery person who has insight.
Who made the front row. Who made the front row. Wow, congratulations, Diane.
Without using drugs. Think about it. They don't use drugs every day, so they can still teach us something.
Yeah, no, she does not abuse, which is kind of weird, right? I got to know a person who doesn't drink every day.
Yeah. Wait, your story has what? Nothing to anything? You didn't die or anything? You were like,
yeah, exactly.
I hang around people who almost died or arrested, been in jail,
You've never seen Narcan?
They're like, what's that?
You never Narcan.
That's a cop, right? No. Close, but no. But anyway, so if you guys do want a sober shout out, I want to say hello to Scott. Carney just came on. Charlie is on. Scott, you know Charlie, I think, right?
He Carl to whip it out.
Yeah, he said whip it out, Carl. No, don't whip it out.
Hey.
We had one whip it out episode on here we had to take care of that. So Jordan's on. Bambi.
Good morning.
Good morning. Who else? We got Bambi, and that's it. So identify yourself who's on there. We'll give you more shout outs. And real quick, if you guys want any information on our meetings, go to our website, friendsinrecoverycommunity.org. All the meetings are up there, or at genesishouse.net. And be sure to get us on all the social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, TikTok, Snapchat, all that stuff. And don't forget to subscribe, and share. Give us a 5-star review. That is very, very important that we do that. Now, the question of the week. Bambi is here. Bam. Oh, should we do it over so Carl can put it in there? The question of the week.
Question of the week.
Bam.
Bam. There it is. All right. All right, Carl. There you go.
Question of the week.
Because, I like that. That was good. Because it's starting to be summer, and we're starting to think about where we're going and what we're doing and vacations we're planning. So I figured I'd come up with a question of the week. What's your favorite family vacation spot? What's your favorite family vacation spot? Carl, we're going to start with you.
Damn it. Not even gonna give me any time to think about it.
He didn't even brush his teeth in.
I tell you what, this is what being in Southern California is like the best, right? So favorite vacation, and it's not even vacation. Sometimes it could just be for a day. You know, we go down to the beach, and then so there's nothing like I basically, you know, this is what I really love. If you can imagine this, closing your eyes, you know, feeling the sun, right? Putting your your feet in the warm sand, you know, the wind blowing, like the waves crashing, in the distance, kids, you know, splashing and all that good stuff. It's like, to me, that is just the essence of like, it's just like, what a beautiful, like 11 a.m. Saturday, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I really love. That kind of stuff is just what I live for today. So I actually bought a season pass to go to the state. We have state beaches like up and down. I don't know if you guys have all the same, but yeah, we have state beach. And so I bought the passes for that. And
cool.
So for the RV as well, so that we could just drive with the RV and have a whole day of it. Yeah. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I love
Good.
an RV.
I know. Love me a good RV. He's going to come out to the East Coast one day, he said.
My grandma growing up had a Winnebago, and we drove down to Disney World with it. Like, it was the coolest thing ever. Like, the trailer's awesome. It is.
Yeah, I know. Sky, what's your favorite family vacation spot?
Well, I love going down the shore. Same thing, the beach. And like, my brother's a lifeguard down there, so we always get VIP. Like, you know, Wildwood Beach is like a mile to get to the fucking water. That's just how it is. It's roaded over the years. So he comes with the Jeep, the Wildwood Beach Pro Jeep, and picks us up and drive us down. Since my son was so little, so he thinks he's like the coolest guy on the beach, and then he gets us like boogie boards and stuff from the beach people, and so that makes me feel special. You know, we have a good time, and then that relaxation, walking on the beach, like, you know, I love that. Same thing. That's good. But you know, I'm so upset because my mom sold her trailer, so like she doesn't have it.
That's right. So
I haven't even really grieved that. You know, I'm so nervous this summer.
Yeah.
We have to like rent places. Like, damn.
Yeah. Skylar's brother, we're going to get a news flash next week. Lifeguard fire dude, family members in Jeep, unauthorized family members in Jeep down to the beach. But seriously, Wildwood beaches are fucking long as hell, man. Seriously, quarter mile. Quarter mile to get out to the fucking ocean. It's crazy.
Oh, really? Like to the water?
And they have water, like dune buggy taxis you can pay to drive down.
Yeah.
On top of the beach ones. Yeah.
It is crazy.
Wow.
It is crazy. Yeah. So, but yeah, Wildwood beaches are great. So my favorite family vacation spot is Bar Harbor, Maine. Right. I've been going ever since I was a little kid, a lot of hiking up there. I took my kids there. We took Stacy's daughter there, which she's my daughter too. I call her my daughter, but she loves going back. And she asked me the other day, she's like, Ed, can we go to Maine? Can we go to Bar Harbor? You know, because we are selling our beach house and we're moving down to South Carolina. So we won't be tied to like one specific place anymore. You know, we were tied to Cape May, which I love Cape May, don't get me wrong. But now we can go back to Maine. You know, I mean, I can't, you know, you have two houses. You have to come to get your money's worth to come to the store and, you know, show up here. But now we can kind of go wherever we want. So we're going to plan a vacation next year to whatchamacallit, to Bar Harbor, Maine. And Jordan, I know on here was, she said, any Florida beaches. She also, and then I reminded her about Maine. She said Maine. We have who else? Somebody else said something on here. Who else? I don't know. We just put up on Facebook Live, guys, whatever your favorite vacation spot is for the family. So, and I'll look at it. Anyways, so that is it. So that's the question of the week, and it's getting to be summer, so that's why I picked that question.
Hey, can I honor some things that have been going on in your lives?
Yeah.
So Skylar, did you just graduate?
Oh yeah.
So I said in my home group yesterday, I said, you know, just like everyone announces their clean time for a week, I want to do that for a week of my graduation because that's a fucking milestone, and it's a result of this program and staying clean. But I got a fucking bachelor's degree, Carl, like with my name on it, and it's real. It's not fucking fraudulent.
Yeah. So when I fill out my resume, motherfuckers, it's actually, you know, correct this time. It's not just a lie. I'm not just lying anymore. Look, it make you run around and check
it. Done that on resume
from there.
Yeah. When you check it now, it will be legit, bitches.
You will really be my old boss.
Yeah. You will not be surprised.
You know.
Yes, she is a certified something or another. Yes.
And they accepted me to the master's program, Carl.
So now you're going on to the master's program?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of stuff that people like. See, you guys are here like just living your lives, doing this podcast. It's all great. We're going to talk about Tradition 5, but you know what? There's shit happening in the background as a result of what it is that we do, right? It's like,
man.
you know, we do the actions, and and the outcome is. I just wrote this morning on Facebook. Like we do the actions, and the outcome's not really up to us, but we do receive the benefits when they come, and it's important to acknowledge those results. So, and then Ed, you just closed on what?
Just closed on a house in Charleston, South Carolina.
And if you're friends with Ed on Facebook, it's a beautiful house.
It's being built like to custom to like how awesome.
Tailored to Ed's needs.
I love it.
That's
like you deserve that shit.
I know it's tailored to my wife's needs, not Ed's.
Well,
Ed got a little. Ed got a lot. Yeah. It's hey, listen, happy wife, happy life, whatever she wants. No,
that's why I'm in a closet, Ed. That's why I'm in a closet.
Well, that's what I got. I got myself a little closet with a window. I got a window though in mine.
Ooh,
so
nice.
I requested a window in mine because I seen your little fucking closet thing, and I said I want a fucking closet thing, but I want a fucking window in it.
But it's only half my closet. Like here's all the other stuff that's hers.
It looks good that way right there.
Still, I only get half.
At least it's half.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, thank you, Carl. Yes.
So when do you move in, Ed? Do you know?
We move in June 1st. We close.
Oh, it's just awesome. Gosh, that's just awesome.
I know. We were just there for a couple of days ago. Did the walkthrough. It's all exciting. We're selling this house here, and just a new life, man. That's what Carl. You hit it on the head, man. I would have not done this if it wasn't for recovery, for all the shit that we talk about every week, everything that goes on. When we put it into action, fucking shit happens, man. Mm-hmm. Shit really does happen. Mm-hmm. And, if you're struggling out there, it does happen. Just take it a step at a time,
Yeah, if you're struggling out there, just look at us. Man.
We're still struggling. Don't
but
give
we're
up.
struggling clean though, So that's the best part.
Exactly. Yeah. It's better struggling clean. You're right. Absolutely.
And all those things like do not compare if there is the thing. Like I remember sitting on my front porch, like I don't know what I was, maybe 2-3 years sober, sitting on my front porch and like looking at my house, and I was like, what a beautiful house. And I was looking, I look, my family's in there. Oh, what a beautiful family in there, and all this other stuff. But the fact is, I just thought to myself, you could take this all the way tomorrow and put me in a fucking tent, and I would still be satisfied.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's when I knew I was starting to get peace just a little bit, because like when none of those outside things mattered, and it was really from an inside perspective, I really understood that like, hey, like, this ain't so bad, like none of it ain't so bad. I could lose it all tomorrow too, and I would still be okay. Right. Yeah. So that's the beauty of this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you don't get to see that. That's not tangible. That's not something you buy. That's not something you run around with the cap and gown on,
No, that's
taking
true.
pictures. Right. But you get that on the inside. You can't take that away.
That's true. But we don't necessarily, if we keep doing what we're doing, we're not necessarily going to lose it. We might change a little bit. It might look differently, but we don't have to be back in that tent. But I know what you're saying, but
but life happens, man. Life happens.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So any changes in your life, Carl?
Well, I did go for my third interview. To be honest, I this is great. Like I had my third interview. I met with wonderful people. And I'm like that. If there's somebody else that I'm competing with, I know that I got them. Dead to rights, right? Because I just I worked on my skills. I worked on myself. I get what I'm doing there, so I think that's cool. I did, and then I got another interview like the next day, right after this third interview, which I'm really. Like I even told the headhunter, like, I'm not really qualified for this one. Like, it's not really my gig. So she's like, I'll just go on the interview anyway. It's the best thing to be on an interview when you don't really care about getting the job. So check this out. She said, well, the guy that you're going to interview with is kind of dry. He's not going to seem like he's like really into it. And I'm like, okay. I like, great. So my only like role is to like make this dude smile and make him laugh. Okay, I got it. Yeah. So then I get on the phone with him and he's like, yeah, he's gonna go on vacation. I go, yeah, where are you going on vacation? He's like, oh, Cancun. And I go, yeah, last time I went to Mexico, they say don't drink the water, but I totally forgot about vodka rocks, right? I go, the rocks is where the water is, and I didn't know that. And so I said, I drank vodka rocks heavily, and I didn't say anything else. So I'm on an interview. This is my first statement on an interview is to say I'm drinking vodka rocks heavily, right? And then I say, just a tip, don't drink the rocks. so basically, and I got him to laugh, right? It was a pretty good deal. And we had a great interview after that. He was like just laughing and da. I just leveled that playing field, man. So here's the thing.
Got hired the next day.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You watch it Monday morning, I'm gonna get the fucking call like you're hired.
That's it.
Exactly. So, but yeah, so there are a lot of good things are going on in our lives, even if not the good things are going on in our lives. We always tend to look at the problem, not the solution, right? Here's the solution. Carl is going on interviews. That's a solution to the problem. We all have problems. What's the solution? Let's stay in the solution. That's how I look at it, and so good for you, Carl. And just let us know when you land that $1 million job.
Yeah, I just had to change my name too because I was like, oh Jesus. So I'm like, somebody's gonna write that company.
we'll get our pain in the ass. The
editor, man, he's gonna.
Yeah, the editor will get it out for us. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I'm gonna cover it up with a penis. It's a floating penis.
Flop it out there and cover it up. There you go. He'll whip it out for you, Joe.
It'll be my own penis.
God. All right, can we get on with the show now? This is not a
come on. This is the show. What are you talking
I know. What do they want to hear about Tradition 5? I don't, the thing is, we should talk a little bit longer about our personal stuff because Tradition 5 is only like 2 pages.
No, actually, you could talk about Tradition 5 because it encapsulates the entire program.
Yeah.
Right. So,
yes.
I mean, you could really talk about Tradition 5.
Yeah. And that's what Skylar and I were talking about. Like, it's so simple, but it just goes so round everything. And Tradition 5 is each group has but one primary purpose: to carry its message to the alcoholic who still suffers. And you can use that like anywhere, like, with any step, they said Tradition 5 and Step 5 are very close with each other. I was listening to a podcast and he said, admitted to God, to ourselves, another human being, the exact natures of our wrong. That is Step 5. And that's still helping the addict, the alcoholic, moving through everything. We're always helping, even Step 12. We're still helping, like Carl, you said, we can get it through anything.
Are you saying like Step 5 as in somebody listening to that person? Or
yes.
Yeah, okay. We're like relieving that person of their suffering kind of.
Well, you're helping another alcoholic who suffers.
Yeah.
Even though we're sober, we're still suffering if we don't do 4 or 5. You know what I mean? If we don't go through the steps, that's why Step 5 is close, because that suffering is put back is put in the past, and we can move on to new things in Step 5, and we're helping suffering alcoholics. And
that's why I was like the in NA when I was younger, they used to say, like, for the person suffering in and out of these rooms, they used to add all the time. You don't hear that in AA as much, but so I like to throw that in an AA meeting every once in a while. But it is true, because the person sitting next to you with like 5-10 years could still be suffering.
Oh,
right? Yeah, it's just, and you need to make yourself available.
It does talk about that in this chapter in the how and why. It definitely does, because the people that are still sick, it says, where is it at? We try to establish a reputation for carrying the message, nothing more, nothing less. And it says, but the newest member who are not only addicts, the only addicts who need the message of recovery, still suffering addicts with whom we share our hope, may be any one of us, regardless of clean time. Tradition 5 is not limited to helping newcomers. The message of recovery is for all of us.
Yes.
So that's he's exactly right. That's exactly right. How and why.
And it's funny, when we say that, moment of silence, for the alcoholic, for the addict, and those types of things. My father, died, alcoholic hepatitis. He was doing heroin, and he drank himself to death while he was doing heroin. Awesome way to die, right? And I think about I think about him every time. It's like a moment of silence, because it's like, here's somebody who had every opportunity, who was smart. Everybody talked about him like he was smart. He was like, and actually everybody says, you remind me a lot of your father. I was like, thanks. So which is true, but let's like, I mean, the fact is like, if I was always afraid to do heroin just because of that, because like that was like, so it was probably a really good thing for me to know those things because it scared the shit out of me to ever do heroin. So, but that's the things I think about that stuff. I think about the true suffering, right? There is that true suffering, and that's the end of that. So every time it comes down to that moment of silence, I really do think about those things.
Me too.
And I think about all the people that I know, like that have come into these rooms and never made it, and they came out and they they either died or they're suffering.
My arm hairs are sticking straight up.
Yeah.
That is all what you're saying. Because every time I think of that prayer, I think so deep. I think so deep because that's the spiritual principle of anonymity right there too. Because so many people pray for us that we don't even know. Like, and then we pray for so many people and they don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
So that moment of silence is huge.
Pray for people like Carl, you said, in and out of these rooms, right?
Yep.
I love when people say that in and out of these rooms, because like you said, there are people suffering from stuff, I mean, it was even this morning, one prime purpose is to carry this message to alcoholics who still suffer. When I called my sponsor this morning, I was running and I had like 1,000 things on my mind, and not that I was like suffering, but I had to get it off my chest because I'm doing 90,000 things. I'm running in 100,000 directions, and my sponsor was there for me. He was there, and that's the message that he carried.
Well, what do they say in Buddhism? Like, all life is suffering, right?
Yeah.
I actually said it in an ACA meeting last night. I go, I was like, all life is suffering. I go, what this program does is it allows me to suffer well. Right. So I think that we're all suffering, really, it's like, but it just allows me to suffer well. I get to suffer better.
I'm the best sufferer ever.
I'm the bestest suffering motherfucker you've ever seen.
That's right. You can't stop my suffering, bitches. But there's also in the 12 steps, the illustrated. You ever see the 12 steps illustrated, Carl?
Yeah. I got a book, like a little pamphlet or something like laying around here. Yeah.
And there's a thing called the I'm responsible. Did you ever hear the I'm responsible?
Yeah. I am responsible when anyone anywhere reaches out, their hand. I want the hand of aid to always be there. Something like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah. I'm responsible. And that's part of the fifth tradition.
It's the pledge, by the way. They call it the responsibility pledge.
Yes,
and I love that because it just, I feel like every time somebody like wants to say it, I'm like a little Boy Scout. I'm like, and everyone, everywhere. Like, is there a uniform? Like, is there polyester I could put on right now? Do we get badges for this shit?
Yeah. Where's a badge?
Where's my...
I'm responsible. Tell me that's not written by somebody who was freaking in that needed some Al-Anon or some what you call it, codependency work, right?
Yeah. I'm responsible to anyone, anywhere, all the time, whenever they need me,
that's
because I really need them.
Yeah, drop everything you're doing and go help somebody right now. Show's over. I gotta go, guys.
Someone's calling.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm so needed.
Is that ego? Is that really our ego right there?
Could be.
People need me, God damn it. So anyways, but the tradition 5, and I don't understand this, like the beginning of tradition 5. I don't know what it means. I don't know why it's the first sentence, but it says shoemaker, stick to the last.
So
didn't he help develop it? Shoemaker?
Sam Shoemaker. Yeah, I think he was part of the original. Yeah. He also has there's a poem actually that I think in like his book, Herb K, and it was like stand by the man by the door or stand by the door.
Okay.
Go look it up. It's actually really cool.
Okay.
But I think he was influential. I don't think that he was one of us. I just think that he was influential in borrowing some spiritual guidance. I think he was like one of these dudes that ran around during that time. I'm not sure. So
okay. Yeah. So shoemaker's a guy then. All right. But it says better to do one thing supremely well than
many badly.
Badly, right? And I guess that's true. I mean, again,
I don't know. Jack of all trades, master of none.
I know
is better than a master of one, right? That's the full
Oh, is that what the
quote.
full thing?
Yeah, yeah. Because a generalist actually is probably more useful than just a specialist.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's
Yeah,
true.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, in this case, when we're talking about specific, AA, I think that's, this has a mission. This gives it a complete. This is the mission statement for
Yes.
AA, right? Like or any 12-step recovery, really.
Yeah.
It's the mission statement. So I think that it is like saying, it to focus on this central theme, like is what it's saying. This tradition is key to our recovery, which is true, right? Because what do we say? We cannot give away what we
The giveaway was freely given to us.
yeah. We can only give away what was freely given to us. What is it saying?
Well, no,
is that it?
If you don't give it away, you can't keep it, basically.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
That's the
don't
same.
give it away, you can't keep it. And
Still
and it's
early for me.
true. Yeah, what time, you're like early there. Yeah, you're 3 hours behind us. So,
It's
but
Saturday morning too.
and how many? And we have some people on Facebook Live. Only 4 now. It dropped down. I think we bombed here. So, I'm just kidding. But there's also a story in Tradition 5. And I can really relate to this story. And it goes about going to see a guy, a very big hulky man, and unfriendly, that I guess this gentleman, I guess it was Bill, Bill that went into this man and says how much the guy he started talking about AA, and he goes, how much does your scheme cost? And I was thankful I could tell him nothing at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it. Like when you talk to somebody about AA or NA, or even if Skylar and I are in the treatment field, it's like, well, how much does this shit cost? This is all a scam. You know what? It's $1 to come into the meeting if you want. You know what I mean? But there's always excuses, and it goes on to say, is this a religious cult, spiritual, blah blah blah? You're trying to convert me to some other bullshit stuff, and but that's just the excuses, right? That's all the excuses that I had, that everybody had. But the primary purpose is to carry the message, right? We don't come off that message when we go in to help somebody. We take that message in, even in our jobs, Sky. We take that message to another addict, alcoholic, that we learned in AA. I know everything that I do at work is because of my program, because of how I work my program. And I'm not here to tell anybody or anything that, anything different, right? Nothing at all. So that's kind of my thoughts on all that. But yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times, people would say, oh, it's a scam, AA's bullshit, or all that. I can't tell you how many times I said AA's a scammer, it's bullshit.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was, I always thought it was a cult, like, and I mean, it's like, and then I looked at it, very clicky. I'm like, oh, this is just adult high school for sober.
But then we drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. It's like, here's, I got a really good example. I was a year sober and I was looking for a new sponsor, and I got a guy's phone number that I thought would be really cool. But, but then he started to call me, right? Like he was calling me, like he was calling me every Friday, and I'm like, what the fuck are you calling me for? So I was talking to my first sponsor, who I was like, working on letting go, and I was like, why does this dude call me? And he was like, I don't know. Why don't you ask him? Right? And I shit you not, like it took me some courage to like, I was like, my first sponsor was serious about asking me. He wasn't being sarcastic. He was serious. Like, why don't you ask that dude why he calls you? Because I had all these questions in here. Like, I had all the same shit of like, what are you getting out of it? Right? Like, why do you call me? Right? Like, again, but it's that defensive, like, excuse kind of driven stuff that Ed's talking about. It's like that inner stuff that you never voice out loud. Like, you're just trying to be like, I was trying to be all codependent and people pleasing, and like, hey, I'm talking to this dude and everything's cool that I'm talking to him. But like, what, like, I always in the back of my mind, like, what does he want? What is he getting to? What's his fucking angle? What's he trying to fucking sell me? Like,
his intentions.
Yeah. What's this motherfucker about? Is he trying to stick it to me in more ways than one? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, just going to level there. Like, is this dude like trying to he's kind of like, you can come over and have some coffee and I'll give you a massage or something. It's like, but no. So I ask him, I literally do. It's the most uncomfortable fucking thing to be honest and direct and to say, dude, why are you calling me? Like, what is, like, he goes, why do you think I call you? And I was just like, honestly, because I think you're a Christian trying to put me in a fucking trick bag. I think you're trying to get me to go to church, and I don't want to go to fucking church. And here's the best part. He became my sponsor, right?
Okay.
But because he told me basically, he's like, I'm calling you. How we ended up talking about was Tradition 5, right?
Yeah.
I'm calling you because I'm an alcoholic calling another alcoholic. Yeah. Right? Because I got your phone number, you asked for my phone number, and I'm calling you because I want to connect with you. Yeah. And I was just like, and basically it was to be my sponsor and relieve my suffering because he knew I've been hanging out with, a sponsor where I wasn't getting like what I needed. Yeah. I wasn't working the steps as I should have. And, and I was having an issue, right? Because I was talking to him and he knew I was having an issue. Yeah.
So he carried the message to you when the other one couldn't.
That's exactly. Right. But,
it comes in different forms.
First one carried me halfway. He carried me the rest of the way, right?
Yeah.
So but that's the thing. But always in the back, and it was a while before I asked him too. So that's the thing. It's always in the back of my mind. I had all these reservations about what it is and, what this dude wants. And I think we all kind of do that to a certain degree. But that's the weirdest part, is the strangest part. Some people just cannot believe that we have devoted ourselves to this purpose. Yeah. And that it's like, we want to give what was given to us. Exactly. And it's like,
freely.
Period.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this podcast we don't get paid to do. This is
wait a minute.
oh, I'm sorry, Carl. The check's in the mail. Yeah, there you go.
We do accept donations.
The rest.
There's things and stuff.
Yeah. Sign up for his Patreon.
Do have t-shirts available.
Yeah. We'll let you plug it all at the end. Don't worry. No, but it's true. I mean, we come on here. We help people. We go above and beyond. We talk with people. The one question I had says each group has but one primary purpose: to carry the message to the alcoholic who still suffers. That's the group, but the group doesn't do the talking, right? It's the individual person. When we leave that group and we learn, again, hold on, and maybe I'm wrong. When we leave that group and we learn what we learned, hold on. Carl, sit down. I'm calling you in a minute.
This is going to make the YouTube shot.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah. Joe's going to do that.
Dramatic.
Yeah. Everybody give a pose. But yeah. There you go. That's But the message is carried by each individual one of us, and our interpretation of what that meeting's about or what AA is about. And obviously we have one primary purpose, is to stay sober, but how we get there, like you said, Carl, your first sponsor wasn't cut. The second sponsor was calling you up and saying, let's do some of this fucking work. It may not look exactly the same. It's not going to be like, okay, this group is a cookie cutter for this group, blah, 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 and down the road. We're going to learn what we got from that group and take it out and spread the message as best as we could, as best as we learned it.
Yeah. So I do want to say, because part of this is the unity. Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I wanted to stress, because there's a really good example. I heard this on a speaker talk in the one group. We all have phone lists in our group, right? You guys got phone lists in your group. Mm-hmm. So we all have these phone lists, and then what happens with this one group I heard is that old school, right? Think of the 70s and 80s, right? Before cell phones, before email, before Facebook, right? So what they would do is every quarter they would get together and they'd go down that phone list and they'd ask each other, who haven't you seen in a while, right? Like who have you not seen in meetings, right? And they go, so mark them and give them a call, see what they're up to, right? Mm-hmm. And it's and that's literally carrying the message in this Tradition 5 kind of a way, right? Hey, haven't seen you in a while, and it's just it's a quick phone call. Haven't seen you in a while. Who knows him better? You give him a call, right? And haven't seen you in a while. Hopefully you can show up. That kind of thing, and that's basics, right? And I know it seems very culty kind of in a way, but you know what? That's a truly caring action. That's an actionable level of tradition 5. To go out of your way if you haven't. And some people you just call like, I just started going to a new meeting. I was like, cool. I'll see you there. Whatever it is. But you know what? That's a real actionable item.
Well, integrity is a spiritual principle, the step for that, I think, because the unity you're talking about, and then the integrity you're going to get from reaching out to that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're going to build your integrity, and then the responsibility, like the group is responsible. It talks about allowing each group is responsible to become as an effective vehicle for carrying the NA message as it can be. So the group it's just the individual. We're all in that car. It's the car driving us.
Well, the unity, and we all get it, get that information.
And we all carry it different, which is helpful to different addicts.
And that's also showing up. I'm going to make it like totally. I don't know if I'm not breaking any anonymity, but there's a father and daughter that I saw walk into a meeting, and the father who was 10 years sober, more than 10 years, like 20 years, hasn't been to a meeting in 10 years, and is bringing his daughter, who's now on her second meeting, right?
Wow.
And I'm like, so let me just say, like, it very easy to walk out of this thing, but see, just showing up, right? See, what I thought to myself is like, I was like, if my daughter needs this meeting, right? I want to ensure that this is here and it is, available, and just putting my ass in the chair, whether I share or not, right? Whether I participate or not, just me being in that chair is part of that unity. Is part of that service. And that's part of that, like, you're being of service to somebody else just by showing up, so, and that's helping to carry, because if something needs to be done, guess what? I get to get my ass out of that chair and do it for that meeting. Right. So just being available. So when I think about that father and daughter, I go, man, I was like, that father's sitting out for the last 10 years. So I talked to him after the meeting, and I was like, dude, I go, you got to come. Like, this is the meeting you're going to come to. I go, I know you've been sitting out for 10 years, but this is the meeting, my home group. I was like, you're going to come to Tuesday, 7:30. I'll see you here. Right. And he's like, yes. So yeah. You know what I mean?
But that's carrying the group. That's carrying the message as a group. Yes, definitely. But here's the thing: the cool part of it is that, and you were talking about it earlier, Carl. It's the group is like the GP, like the general practitioner. And when we leave the group, when I pick my sponsor, I picked a like-minded person, somebody who is driven like me, somebody who used like me, somebody who
is he bald as well?
No, he's not. He's not. He's good looking like me though, but and I actually used with him before, so I've known him for like over 35 years. He's been my sponsor for 26. Yeah, but now he's the specialist for me for my particular problem. That group is great to go to, right? And it's great to get the message from there. But now I have to take the message and understand the message from my specialist, from my sponsor, like let him help me understand what that message is, because in early recovery, and sometimes now I don't know what the fucking message is, right? Sometimes I don't know what it is. Sometimes I'm so scatterbrained, there's so much shit's filled in my head that I don't know what the message is. That's why we have to have sponsors. That's why we have to break this down into these specialists from the GP to the specialist, you know what I mean? And that's that's how I see my sponsor. Specialist.
It's what do they say? Like, carry the message, not the mess. Right?
That's what I was going to say. So what do you guys think is a way that the message can be misrepresented in the room?
Yeah, I was just gonna jump onto that one too. Like Ed when Ed was talking, it reminded me how much the message can be misrepresented.
Oh yeah,
and unintentionally sometimes.
So disregard everything I said, guys.
No, but sometimes we just don't know because our sponsor didn't teach us yet. We didn't come across it yet. Like that shit happens.
Yeah, it does.
And mistakes are what teaches us.
Yeah, and you don't know what you don't know, and that's the thing. You got to forgive yourself when it comes to this stuff too, because it's like, you know what you know, and as part of your message. See, that's the thing. I carry the message that I believe got me sober. I don't carry my message because my message is fucked up. So I try to carry the most of the time. What I try to say, look, like especially when I'm talking to a sponsor, I always say, look, what I'm telling you right now, and I know, like, I got that somewhere else, right? That's not about this program. So if you want it, like it's a different philosophy or it's a different meaning, message, it works for me. You may find your own things that work for you, but let me tell you right now what what I'm about to tell you is from me. And then I will go back and say, now, but this is from the book. Like, this is where I got this message, right? How we work recovery and how this is about. And I point them to the source, from, Big Book or NA Book or, whatever traditions, whatever approved literature, right? I don't like pass off anything else as program shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very clear about what comes out of the book. Even in meetings, I'll say, and part of my share sometimes is like, a lot of these people are going to say some shit that cannot be resolved in this book. I go, so if you hear somebody, you need to go back to this book and see if that makes sense for you, right? Because that's what we should be talking about in here. Because a lot of people get really distracted about what it is that we're doing.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the primary purpose very much gets distorted sometimes.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that, you're right. But you said at the beginning, Carl, where this is not me telling anybody this. I didn't make this shit up. I'm not giving you my wisdom. This didn't come from my brain. And my sponsor tells me, he goes, Eddie, it's not me telling you all this. It's my sponsor who shared it with me. It's his sponsor who shared it with him. We didn't make this stuff up. We just lived it, and it's working for us. So I'm going to pass it along to you. Mm-hmm. And that's how it goes, that passing along the right message, not the message, Yeah.
It is not a myth. It must be lived, right? So, and that's the difference here. It's like, we have to, here's the thing. If you are new to sobriety program kind of stuff, and you're looking at somebody, look at their actions. Don't just fucking listen to what they say, because that's it's like what I tell my daughters when they're dating a new guy, right? Don't just listen to what he says, because he's going to say anything to get in your pants, right? Yeah. But what are his actions, right? Are you guys dating, quote unquote? Dating involves going out and doing shit. Yeah. Dating doesn't involve like him trying to isolate you in his fucking room and get down your pants. That's him trying to get laid. That's not dating. So watch somebody's actions. So as a sponsor, what are that sponsor's actions? He may talk well in a meeting, he may have a good gift of gab, but what are his actions after the fact? What does he do for the other fucking 23 hours of the day? What the fuck is he doing?
And how do we do that? An inventory. Like conscience, when we have a meeting and we're in a group conscience, we take an inventory of how we're carrying the message, and that's where we can speak about it. Or like you said, you talk to your sponsor. But the inventory helps us, not so much taking other people's inventory, but just like you said, watching their actions.
Yeah.
But in the group conscience, we used to go around and ask everybody, how are we carrying the message? How are we carrying the message?
And my sponsor, like I said, I used with him before. So if I see him doing anything but what we did prior to, I'm like, oh, it has to be good. He's he's not using today. I mean, we used to do everything. And it was crazy, that whole world of even thinking back of what my world was like. And I'm just in this unique position. I'm sure there's other people out there, but he was my boss. He was a mentor, even when we were both using, I really looked
So he was teaching you how to use and shit?
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. He was like the top salesman in a company. He had the Yankees and Mets fucking tickets. I mean, seriously, we would go out and party all the time. But now, so he carried that message very well. He really did.
I bought it hook, line, and
That's
sinker.
right, man. I was like, shit, man. And I was like, because I was young, I was 19, 20 when I was working, whatever. I said, one day when I grow up, I'm going to be just like Andy. I was like, oh, fuck, man, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it, I didn't know the guy was going to be sober, and he carries that message. He played hard. He played hard. Now he works hard. Let me tell you, and that's what's good thing about a sponsor. And you're right. The actions have to match the words. Hands down, they have to. And my sponsor, definitely his actions match his words. And sometimes I get pissed off. I'm like you were saying earlier, Carl, what the fuck does this dude want from me? I'm trying to tell him my way. My way is the best way. And, he's telling me to see it another way. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm just telling you how it should be done. Right. And now you're telling me something completely different. And he's right. Probably 99% of the time, because I don't stop and think about it, because my job is just to go full force into something and not think about it. His job is to slow me down and let's think about this and let's go through it. So my first thought is something crazy. My second thought is call my sponsor and let's figure this shit out. Seriously, that's my second thought. He says, Eddie, he goes, your first thought is not the right thought, but your thoughts after, the way you go about things is, they're
yeah.
good.
But before I got a sponsor, though, it was the group. Like, it was the power of the group that kept me back, because I didn't want to get a sponsor first. I was scared of shit. Fuck you. Like, I gotta get a sponsor and tell people shit.
Actually connect with somebody? I don't want to do that.
So the power of the group, honestly, like what you're talking about, Ed, I had for like the power of the group in the beginning, because I was too scared to get a sponsor, like, and the attraction of the group and what you guys possess, I couldn't deny it. Like, you know what I mean? The literature talks about that. We can't deny that power of the group that we see. It's almost tangible, because, and it's what keeps you coming back.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Our friends in recovery meetings, like the power in that meeting.
Oh yeah.
Is why I go on there when I'm in distress, when I go on there when I'm happy, when I have hope to share, like, because that power of that group.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's not just you. I mean, I hear it all the time about friends in recovery, the meeting. We're talking about the recovery meetings that we do, shameless plug, 2 times a day, 7 days a week.
Shameless plug.
Noon and 7 p.m. Get on there.
But by the way, I just want to let everybody know those meetings got me through COVID. And that's kind of where we connected originally.
Yeah.
Like
we all got
really
through shit together.
Yeah. That was dude, I needed that shit. Absolutely.
It's so funny. We may not hang out all the time, but all 3 of us have been through some shit together.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cool. Like, it's so deep.
Sure.
Yeah. And that's the primary purpose for those meetings, is to carry the message who still suffer. And we have people that come on and suffer in and out of this program. Some people do come in the meetings, and I'm glad you brought that up, Carl, because we can apply this right to friends in recovery, the meeting,
power of the group.
The power of the group. People come in and people say, like Carl just said, I stayed and it helped me out through the pandemic. That is the message that we carried, and there's different messages as we go through life. And I think we do see the different, I do anyways, I should say I see different messages when I go to different groups. Number one, I see different messages in different parts of my life when I need something. What's the saying, when the student is ready to teach your peers, right? You walk into a fucking AA meeting, if you have an open mind, it doesn't matter who's there on this podcast, wherever it is, a Zoom meeting. If you're willing to learn, the message is there. Somewhere in this fucking mess, there's a message. We turn our mess into a message here, Please email us at Helping Friends in Recovery if you know any message that we're talking about here.
If there's a message here, we want to know.
Yeah, exactly. We have no fucking clue. We're still trying to figure out what tradition 5 is. No, just kidding.
And like you said, different groups have different things. So like, that's also a responsibility of the group to make sure that we're looking at the outside. Is a lot of newcomers coming in here? So should we make this a newcomers meeting? Is there people that are doing steps around here and that can teach so we have to look at the responsibility of that too for the group to carry the message.
And that's the ability that we had through COVID when we first started all the friends in recovery stuff, that people, at first it was just get on there and just talk, we're all scared, everything shut down. People are losing their jobs. People have no money. Kids aren't going to school. Like it was a fucking weird time when this shit started. Right.
Weird. Yeah,
and then people started saying, I know I started the step meeting on Mondays because my sponsor said, get to step meetings. I'm like, well, how the fuck am I going to go to step meetings? He goes, well, go on Zoom, start a step meeting, and he goes, I want you to start a step meeting. I want you to start a step meeting. And then we'll work the steps. I'm like, all right, well, I started a step meeting, and then we have all of our other people doing their own meetings the way they want to do them. And it's helping people stay sober. We just added Celebrate Friends in Recovery meeting on Friday nights. Rob Hooper is just killing it with that
different vehicles to carry that message.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's where this tradition comes in, and it really helps us carry that message, whatever meeting it is. There is definitely a different message on each meeting, especially. And again, I'm friends in recovery. I'm talking about any meeting. You walk in and you get that message that you need. And I'm just grateful that, number one, this tradition doesn't work if you don't have an open mind. Let's be serious. If you walk into a meeting and you don't have an open mind to hear that message that this group is carrying, then it's not going to work, And also, if you don't have an open mind when you're in this group and you're not getting that message across correctly either, So this has to be a very kind of open-minded kind of connection both
Yeah.
ways, as I see.
Because as you see, like, for instance, one of the things that I encourage with my sponsees, even, right? So I'm literally carrying that message with this is, I may be talking to a sponsee who's ultra religious, right? And for whatever reason, the universe has put me and this dude together, right? So, but here's the thing: it is not up to me to convert this person, to manipulate their religion, to instruct or redirect their relationship with their higher power. It has nothing to do with me, right? But it's my job to say how I utilize my relationship with my higher power and let them to theirs, and then to live by example and to discuss with them as we go through life. Because when I lost my job, you can be guaranteed that I looked to my sponsee and said, this is how you do it, right? This is how, and I talked to him and said, yeah, it's not that big. I'm going to go get another job. That's what I got. It's that simple. It's not a big fucking deal. And it's the first time I had ever had it's my first time ever getting fired. I was like, wow, and that was kind of weird for me. And then a lot of ego in there, a lot of stuff to deal with, and but you know what?
Don't they know who I am? You can't fire me.
Yeah, but picking up a drink or acting out or lashing out or just slashing tires and kicking ass and taking names was not on the list, right?
Wow.
That all those behaviors that I would have had when I was younger, drinking, and gone. So when my sponsee is looking at me, he can see that difference, and that's what this thing is. Like, I'm not there to manipulate somebody else's sex life or religious life, right? So my job, I'm not even there to deal with it financially. Like I say, I'm there to show it as an example, to say, like, this is how I go through recovery, right? So to me, that example is carrying the message as well. And that's what it talks about in the 12 and 12, which I really love. It's like that call I had with my sponsor, right? It's like, he said, finally he saw that I wasn't attempting to change his religious views, that I wanted him to find the grace in his own religion that would aid his recovery. From there on, we got along fine, right? So in that open mind goes both ways in that regard, because you cannot take you can't take a side. Like, you were there,
accept that person where they're at.
You're there to be the conduit, right? For their higher power, your higher power, whatever, a higher power. You're there just to be the
or no higher power either.
Exactly,
no higher
right?
Power.
Like, and however, you need to meet everybody where they're at. Period. Right. It's kind of how that works. So that's what this is about, carrying that message. Especially with the open mind, which I really love how you brought that up. Because it's a true thing, both sides. Walking into this thing.
Exactly. And it's and the only reason I know that is because of my sponsor. He has an open mind towards me. I have an open mind towards him, and my sponsee. I have an open mind towards her, and we just keep things going. I can't tell him or her to do what they want to do as I do, not as I say, right? Or do as I say, not as I do. That's the other piece of this. But my knowledge comes from my sponsor. My knowledge comes from you guys here. My knowledge comes from the people who I've learned along the way. Because when I was doing it, guys, like you said at the beginning of the show, Carl, I was fucked up. I was fucking things up left and right. I wasn't doing it right. My life is run because of the principles and the steps and the traditions of AA today. That's how my life is run. And if I ran in any other way, I'd be fucking running right into jail. Seriously. That's where I would be today. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't run my life the way my sponsor ran his life, his sponsor ran his life, so on and so forth. And I'm passing that down along the line to other sponsees and other people who just want help or just asking for advice. And like it says, I know it's corny, and it's not corny, but it says, I am responsible. When anyone anywhere reaches out for help, I want the hand of AA always to be there. I am responsible. There you go.
So NA's message is that any addict can stop using drugs, use the desire to live, and find a new way to live.
Say that again, Skylar. Ed was like going off.
I was telling Carl to take his pants off.
Whoa.
So the NA message, like responsibility similar, is our message that any addict can stop using drugs, lose the desire to use, and find a new way to live.
Simple,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Simple and easy. That's kind of
Yeah, that really cuts out the excuses, doesn't it?
Yep. Just show them how we fucking live.
Not
Show
much to say
us how
about
you
that.
live.
What else can you say? It's all right there.
Yeah. And the funny part is like, I think that there's some expectation behind all this stuff too, right? It's like, so when you say that, it's like my addict brain goes, yeah, but how am I going to live? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, but do I really want to do that? You know what I mean? Like, am I going to be fucking rich or poor or what the fuck, man? Like I want to be rich, where's my fucking cars. And if I don't get my car and my fucking good house in a year, then I'm out. Fuck this shit. It's like, yeah, it's like it's such a selfish fucking way to live, right?
It is.
So yeah, it's like when I think about those statements, I think about how easy my brain just fucking flips that shit. Like, just
Try to rewrite the whole program.
Yeah, like I'm fucking already doing it. I'm fucking, sober almost 8 years, and I'm already fucking like, yeah, whatever.
Shit ain't working.
Fucking manipulating that statement.
It says right in this story in the 12 and 12 that this guy was just questioning everything, right? Like we were reading earlier, he's questioning everything, and you don't need to question everything because all the answers are there. Like in exactly what you read, Sky, all the answers are right there. Why question it? Why? Because that's what we do. That's what we don't want to take anybody's advice. We don't think that it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work anyways, and when I take advice from when I listen to my sponsor, he gives me some suggestions like this shit ain't never going to work. Like, how the fuck does this guy know this? And then sure as shit, man, you know what? Those decisions were right, or whatever we came across, we have to call him up and say, you're right, Eddie, I'm not right. That's exactly what he says. I don't want to be right. And he doesn't want to be. He goes, I just lived exactly what you talked about. And I just shared my experience, strength, and hope with you. And hopefully you'll get something out of it and you'll grow through it and get on the other side of the pain. That's the primary purpose to me is get through the pain and learn something, move on to the next problem. Carl, you weren't too far off earlier when you said on the show that life is about just, problems and situations and all that. Life is about problems and situations all the time. It's how we handle it, how we move through it. How big do we make them, or how small do we just, how small we just push them down? I can have my foot hurts now, and I can make that a big problem. I'll just ice it and I'll just move on. That's just, I can turn that into, oh my God, I go to the podiatrist. I can't run anymore. My foot hurts. I need new sneakers. Believe me, I can turn this shit into a fucking real fucking.
Have a new limp by the end of the day when he walks.
Yeah, exactly. I'll have a cane by the end of the day. I'll go out and buy a fucking cane by the end of the day because I twisted my fucking ankle, Let's be serious. That's who I am. That's how I was built. But when I reach out to my sponsor or other addicts or alcoholics, they tamp it down, and it's a fucking twisted foot or leg, whatever.
I used to say pain is pain is going to happen, right? But being miserable is optional. So you can you can be going through something, but you gotta it's not my sponsor who beat this into me. Got to beat this into me because it's so true. Because I love to take the littlest thing and make it a big fucking thing all the goddamn time, because I got nothing else to focus on, right? Like my life is going pretty well. I'm not shit faced or shit in my pants and, I have another drama going on, and I'm not lost in all this other shit. But I'm going through peaceful times, but I'm too bored. So I'll just take this little thing and make it, and then he basically will say, in a loving way, it's not what happens to us, it's how we respond to it that matters, right? And which I think, Jeff Seisel, he says that a lot, right? So it's so that's the thing is, for me, I really have to look at that. I really have to look, am I responding appropriately to what is going on in my life, or am I making it a bigger issue than what it is? So life does happen, but it's am I responding to it in a way that is am I being an adult right now, or am I just being a fucking child?
A 2-year-old.
Yeah.
We're responsible and logical. If I get there, I start making up crazy things and excuses and directions to go that are so not logical at all.
Exactly.
So, and I think that this comes down to, you cannot, you cannot transmit something you haven't got, right? And that's what we talk about in this, tradition 5. And that's why it kind of keeps creeping in, right? Our character defects keep creeping into this conversation because this is the problem with carrying the message in tradition 5, which is we are all fallible. We are all just, broken people just trying to repair the best that we can as we carry the message, right? So we are repairing ourselves as we carry the message. This happens on the, in unison, right? So it's not always going to be perfect. It's so, and that's where we have to give ourselves some forgiveness, and we have to realize, let me give you a good example, a really good example of trying to carry the message and mixing it up, because this is where do we have time? Are we going?
Yeah, a couple more minutes, and then
okay.
Go ahead.
So I had a sponsee who mentally was breaking down, who was becoming schizophrenic, right? And it was, and I was like, oh shit, I'm talking to this dude, and it's getting scary, and he's saying some stuff, and I'm like, dude, I think I need to talk to your dad right now, like somebody else that's with you, and because it had gotten to that point.
Wow.
And he got scared that I wanted to talk to somebody else, right? Here's the thing. I don't care who you are, and I don't care how much you think that you can save the world. That was absolutely a wrong thing for me to do. And because here's the thing. This dude's having a schizophrenic episode, and you know what? There's some things that are not under my capabilities. I do not have the skills. I am not certified. You know, I don't care who you think you are, right? I'm trying to carry the message, but you know what? There's some serious things standing in the way, and you need to know your limits, right? You need to know what you're dealing with. And it's okay, by the way, to let go, to step back, to let things fall apart for somebody else, because there are just some things that you cannot do. Right?
We can't be fixers. You're right. We cannot be fixers. And that's
that might just be part of the person's experience that they have to go through.
Exactly. That's part of their bottom. Because again, sometimes you just got to let go and let that person fall down that hole. Because I tell you what, I wanted to do something, you could tell, because I was like, dude, give me, put your dad on the phone. Cause I don't think this is, you're not talking right. You know what I mean? And then it was scary. It was scary for me. Here's the thing, because I felt like he might hurt somebody in a serious way. And I mean in a serious way. And I couldn't tell you how helpless I felt. And let me tell you, when you ever feel like you're helpless, that is the time to let go and let God and let the universe work. Because I'm telling you, you're not it. Right. No, so when you're trying to carry the message, just know that you are a human being, you are fallible, and you have limitations. This is not always going to go your way. You gotta give it up sometimes.
Well, the message is what
caveat for that.
Yeah. So and the message is what the group preaches, right? And that's as much as we know. Again, the group is the GP, and then you need specialists. A specialist being a doctor, a psychiatrist, maybe a lockup, a hold for a while, whatever it is.
Genesis House. There
you go. Genesis House.
Just to plug
70933.
Yeah. I mean, GenesisHouse.net.
That's right. Anyways, guys, this is some good. We can go on and on and on, and this message does get carried throughout the steps, throughout the program, throughout everything, as all the examples that we spoke about today. Just in this last hour or so of the show. So if you guys want to read Tradition 5, it starts on page 150 in the 12 and 12. If you have any comments, comment below about Tradition 5, or send us an email at help@friendsinrecoverypodcast.com. And Carl, thank you for coming on and sharing wonderful words of wisdom.
Good morning.
It's just sunrise now over in California. So
man, I stink.
He's gonna go brush his teeth a little bit. But is there anything you want to tell us about SoberPod? I know you talked about it at the beginning of the show, but now that you came on, you want to tell us maybe how much it might cost to get on your page and all that?
It is only $24.99 a week. And if you subscribe now for free, though,
that's right,
you'll be billed $59.95. But if you get somebody else to join, it's only $79.95.
And if you use somebody else's credit card, it's free.
Yeah, it's free.
There you go.
No, I would like to say on the podcast we have.
No, don't use somebody else's credit card.
We're doing so go to soberpod.com. We're the current podcast we're covering Living Sober, and what we're doing is we're taking the Living Sober book, which is just like a little pamphlet, but it's super cool because we're doing the listening of it, right? So because online you can just play the audio. So we're playing like segments on audio, and then we're discussing those segments. So it's cool because there's just a lot of topics in it. So it's just me and Chelsea just sitting down, just covering Living Sober. So that's basically our theme at this point. And it really is centered around the newcomer. And it is, I was trying to think of like, well, what would be a good companion to what you guys are doing right now, right? And I was like, oh, Living Sober is like great for this because you guys are covering the steps. Living Sober is not necessarily step related, but really about like, what you do in your life. And
it's a
we
story.
have one called Living Clean. It's the same. They both just like are deeper look into relationships. Death,
living life. Right.
Yes.
And so I thought it would be cool to like have those things. So, so it's kind of cool to, if you could think about it, like you could jump back and forth between Friends in Recovery and SoberPod at this point. You guys are like ahead, like, to step 5. It's why I think we'll probably get through it like by the time you're done, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Awesome.
So we'll have that little companion for you. Yeah. Or maybe you guys could do it after this too, which I think would be really cool. So just to cover that as well. It's a really neat. It's a good topic generator too. So go to soberpod.com or on Apple Podcasts or, all the other Spotify's and the yada yadas and the things and the stuff and
shirts too. Aren't you doing something with shirts?
Oh yeah.
Pain is a process.
Painistheprocess.com. So I love, because I've been going through a lot of painful things in like the last couple of years, I've really become an observer of pain. I think personally, I have really enjoyed, isn't that funny? We were just talking about too. I have really enjoyed the idea of pain. Like, and it is a process and it is something that like you must go through. You can't go around. You can't go over. You must go through. It is nothing but that. But how you do it is really what matters. And that's why I've kind of embraced pain a little bit. Like I thought about it. I was like, so pain is a process. And then, I have like the t-shirt I really like is I'm a painkiller, right? Because it just shows you like, again, mixing it with our recovery metaphor. I just thought it was kind of cool. Like I'm the pain. I don't take painkillers anymore. I'm the painkiller.
I'm the painkiller. Yeah.
yeah. So I thought it was kind of cool. Like I'm the one that gets to move forward and do that stuff. So it's a really motivational thing. I really love that shit. So I'm putting up some hats and t-shirts. We don't make any money on this shit, by the way. We make $2 because what we do, if you buy any item, then you get free access to our members only section, which, by the way, is $2 a month. So I'm just saying.
So you get free.
So it's basically like you're getting it for free. If
$2 for the year, guys. $2 for the year.
For the year, yo.
If you buy a shirt.
Check it. That's all I'm saying.
And all the donations that Carl collects goes to Friends in Recovery anyway. So, so we're going to ask him for a donation.
And I would like to say that the money that we do use for SoberPod, I mean, it really is, it goes into SoberPod. Nobody's getting rich here. Nobody's getting like, like I'm not driving a fucking Maserati. I'm literally, I literally just tried to apply for unemployment like 2 days ago, and there's something wrong with my account, and somebody like stole my shit. Shit. So the money really is used for SoberPod because I'm not even getting unemployment at this rate. You know what I'm saying?
Paul does a lot of service work for us too. He does a lot of service work and for the SoberPod show, and it is a good deal. Go over there, check soberpod.com, painisaprocess.com, guys. Please support them. Again, Carl, I just texted Carl this morning and he just jumped on. And it's just amazing, the recovery. It's amazing the people we find that we just help each other out. And thank you, Carl.
Connection.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on the show. Sky, great job today. Tradition 5. We covered that. Stay tuned for next week.
Wait.
Oh, go.
Tiffany. Okay, she needs to start attending this thing on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm feeling like she's ditching out on us a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, life gets lifey, as our Liz says. So
I understand.
I think you know what you should do, Carl. I'm going to call you out right now. Get her on your show.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And talk to her about it.
We're going to do
her
this.
on the show.
Consistency is key is the topic.
Oh, yeah.
I suck at that shit too, Tim.
Just set her up. Just set her up completely.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, guys, our producers are gonna bitch at us. We're going too long here, so
That's the fun part.
fuck him. So, anyways, guys, stay sober, everybody.
This concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast. Follow us on Facebook for past shows and updates, and enjoy free access to twice daily support meetings. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.